When Tinley McBride was 16 weeks pregnant with her now 2-year-old son, she found out surprising news about the growing baby. He did not seem to be developing as expected.
When I went in for my ultrasound to find out the sex of Deegan, they told me it was a boy, but they could not find his feet at the time, and they had no reason as to why. So they were going to send me to a specialist. This is on a Friday. The specialist was not available until the next Monday. So I had to go all Memorial Day weekend, not knowing why they couldn't find my son's feet. So when I went to the specialist, they did say that he had club feet and left it at that. So I went through the birth, and he was born, and he had a dislocated knee at that time, along with the club feet, and also arachnodactyly, the long fingers. And they had no diagnosis at that time for what had caused it. They had possibilities, but not a definite diagnosis. So it's kind of like being in the world of the unknown at that time, which was pretty stressful.
She says looking back, she might have done a couple of things differently.
It was all new to me, and I did the worst thing possible, probably was to read online as to different symptoms. So it just made me more crazy in my head, seeing all these different things that it could be, and yeah, it was all completely new to me.
Deegan's first year was very stressful for his mother. The doctors changed the diagnosis several times. He had to undergo lots of tests, procedures, and surgeries. She doesn't consider herself particularly religious, but she does feel like a spiritual person. She says she's fortunate she's had lots of support from family and friends around her.
It didn't make it more or less, just I knew God would never give me anything more than I can handle, and so it's all been given to me for a reason. I've definitely learned and became a better person for it, so I thank it for that. So it make it a little stronger.
At the time of the filming, his diagnosis is Marfan syndrome, but there still seems to be some questions or differences of opinion. Tinley was afraid to leave him with anyone else, and many were afraid to care for him. Deegan's mom and his caregivers watch him progress over time, paying close attention to skills they can help him master. Meanwhile, his mother is attending college and work while he's cared for at the Child Development Laboratory at Heartland Community College.
For Deegan himself, I think Arch is trying to learn to adapt to the different things that he has been through, different braces, devices, gadgets that he's had to wear, and surgeries, like the neck and the back brace. When he was pretty young, he had to have that on for a few months. And then he's gone through several pair of leg braces for his legs. And when it's new to him, he's got to learn to maneuver it and move around again, as with crawling with the set of braces. And I think those were definitely challenges to him.
Helping him face those challenges is his physical therapist, Stephanie, as part of early intervention services through Easter Seals.
In this type of a setting, what I do is help kids to be able to strengthen their muscles, their coordination, to work on anything from rolling, sitting, walking, kicking a ball, going up and down stairs. So those bigger motor activities that allows them to play eventually in their environment, whether it's playing baseball, kickball, running and playing tag. Our goal is to help kids get to those points.
Tinley says 2-year-old Deegan does talk at a level beyond his years. Physically, she says his longer fingers stand out.
He knows his ABCs by 2. He talks like a 5-year-old, and other things came quicker. So it's he's not doing this, but he's doing this. I think that's going to start to be a new challenge for us, is, him being different. Not really different, but he is different than other kids. And I think they're starting to notice it more and more. It's hard. It's hard. And I'm scared, when he goes to school, how I'm going to react if other kids do make fun of him.
She says she and Deegan's father have had to adjust to new expectations, but she's focused less on herself than her husband.
I think it's affected his father more so because, the sports, he can't play contact sports, and, he wants him to run and jump and play like other little boys. So I think it's more so on his father's expectations than mine, because I was just happy that he was healthy and alive, you know what I mean, and breathing.
She says extended family has been very supportive. Despite those times, people view her child as a victim. She finds herself cringing at the thought.
Sometimes they're like, man, the poor kid, I think he's had enough. Why does God keep putting us through it? And I don't see it that way. That's kind of like how Dusty's parents see it. I think everything happens for a reason, and everything has been given to us for a reason. We have a great support system. My family is pretty close, and so is Dusty Deegan's father's family. They're all pretty close. So we're fortunate to have a great support system who is there for us then and now still.
Tinley says her goals for her son boil down to happiness these days.
At first, like, when he was born, it's like, oh, he should be raising his head at, this many months, and he should be doing this at this many months. Like, I stopped setting goals when he didn't raise his head, when he should have. I was like, you know what? He's going to be at his own pace. I'm just going to let him do his thing and just let it come when it comes.
She says something that seems basic for most toddlers is not for Deegan. She says there will always be challenges.
Trying to get his pants up and down to go to the restroom, that's been so difficult. That's one of the barriers, so that therefore it goes into play with the potty training. He has braces on both of his legs, one right now because we're getting new ones made, but it's difficult for him to pull his pants up and down. It's kind of like the first step in children, I think, getting to go, not first step, but one of the steps in learning to go to the potty by themselves, that they can pull their pants up and down. So we got him wanting to go to the potty, but now it's like, until we come with a different resolution for him getting his pants up and down, that step just has to be skipped. You know what I mean? We're gonna go with the boxers versus those underoos. I don't know if that helps, but it's a challenge. It's a barrier, for him to completely be potty trained. And he falls a lot too. That's one of the concerns that we have, is that he does fall a lot. One of his feet turned in. So we're working on that with the new braces. So example, I'll walk into the hair salon and we have to walk through the big line of people, and he'll fall a couple times and they'll be like, oh, bless his heart. Happens all the time, so he automatically is perceived as different. In summertime, he wears his shorts, they automatically see the braces and they're like, oh, what happened?
In the natural classroom setting, if you're in a daycare situation and you have a child that's falling all the time, the teachers, to keep the child safe, are going to say, okay, don't get close to Deegan, and because you don't want him to fall. But then what's that doing? It's isolating him. So if I can come in and make it a safe area and say, well, let's get close to Deegan and let's play ball with Deegan, even though it's hard, because we want him to feel included. Cognitively, we want that development. We want those kids to understand that it's okay.
His current goal is being able to walk through a crowded room without falling, but incorporating experiences such as that into all of the children's daily activities so Deegan can learn without being singled out.
Right now, I interact most directly with the teachers, and then with parents it's more of phone calls and emails, and sometimes mom will come towards the end of my session and we're communicating. And then also the teachers take video pretty regularly of our therapy sessions, and we'll send those to mom to kind of say, this is what they're working on and this is what we're going to be focusing on. One unique experience that I had with Deegan was, I think I've been coming here for about a year, so a lot of the kids have been in the same classroom, so they're used to me, and they're kind of, we can interact with each other. It's not, and one time I think was really fun was, in the video, I'm taping Deegan's feet, and that's something pretty regularly I've been doing. And there was one time when the kids all kind of came up and they're like, I want tape, I want tape. So we were all sitting in groups, and I'm taping Deegan's feet, and then the kids are getting masking tape from the teachers. And in the same time, I'm showing them and explaining to them what I'm doing. And we talked and joked and said, the kids, we probably have to tell the parents of the other kids why they have tape on their feet when they get home.
Involving the other kids can make something Deegan needs to comply with for his therapy seem more like a game, from feet taping to going upstairs.
It allows us to use the other kids and that positive peer influence, and it gives us one other tool to kind of work beyond behaviors, as opposed to saying, do this, no, do this, no. You have another mechanism to try and get what you want out of kids, of using the peers. I think also having the access of the teachers the whole time, so I'm truly modeling what I want them to do when I leave, as opposed to me taking 5 or 10 minutes to try and explain what it is. When we were working on going up and down stairs, when we were working on transitioning from sitting to standing, I actually had the opportunity to put my hands on Deegan and show Linda the way I wanted her to do it, and then have her try it, and then her feel comfortable with it, as opposed to if I pull them out and say afterwards for 5 minutes, this is what I want you to do. Physical therapy is a lot of feel and experience, and let me move your body the way I want you to move.
The experience takes an emotional toll and can leave you feeling somewhat alone at times or grasping for ways to ease your own pain as much as your child's.
You know, like, assume the worst. Did he fall downstairs, or are you abusing? You know what I mean? I mean, they don't say that, but, you know, they're looking at me like, what have you done to your child? Or that's how I feel like they're looking at me sometimes. And then there's the other people that don't, you know, that are respectful. 110%. Like, you know, when we do go places, I try to divert people's attention. And this is kind of weird. Like, I'll put on a snazzy hat or a nice outfit, or, you know, so they're looking at, like, that is a cool hat, instead of looking at his braces or his glasses. Like, I try to divert their attention and always make people see, like, not the braces, or look at, you know what I mean?
She says she must be optimistic about his future and fully expects he will be successful.
Walking without falling down a lot, going potty, pulling up his pants himself up and down, and just fitting in, like, you know, fitting into a normal school. I mean, here, like, he's been here forever and a day, so, like, everybody knows him, you know, he's a pretty popular kid around here, but when he goes into, like, a new setting or whatever, just that he fits in. And I'm going to make sure that I find a place where he does and he's accepted. Helper puts himself out there. Like, when the student workers come in, they tell him, you have to socialize with the kids, but pick somebody else but Deegan, because Deegan will walk up and be like, hey, come with me, take their hand. They tell them specifically, pick someone else besides Deegan to socialize with.
She says area programs have made it possible for Deegan to find care at the Heartland Community College Child Development Laboratory, where she started bringing him when he was just over a year old.
We needed to use, like, the Easter Seals program for braces, therapy, stuff like that. We used this place, obviously, for resources with help, because they took him in when he had the neck brace and the shell on his back, and there was no other place that was willing to let him come for daycare. So, and then just like my family, I know, has been good support, and my friends.
One question Tinley is waiting for Deegan to ask about his condition when he looks for answers as to why he's different from other kids in school.
You know, we've not really said anything to him about it. Like, he doesn't really ask questions. Like, he'll tell us when he doesn't want to have a brace on or off. We've not really talked to him about it. I mean, I've never really even thought about it until now. I was always waiting until he was older and, like, saying, Mom, why do kids say this to me? Or why don't I, you know, I was waiting for the questions to come before I addressed it, I guess.
The relationship between Deegan, his family, and his primary caregiver in the CDL is strong.
After his surgery, I didn't call the school, so she called and left her cell phone number. She wanted me to call her at home to let her know that his surgery had went okay. So, I mean, I always look for her for, like, all my questions, and I know she'll have the answers. Michelle too, but Linda has been around since day one.
Caring for a special needs child can be all-consuming. Tinley says he is her primary concern all of the time.
The people that do know me know how much time and effort that we put into him, and they will tell you that too. They know, because I talk about it all the time, or I'm bragging on him, or, you know, I'm telling him what we're doing. It fills every spot I have open. I mean, with the doctor's appointments for the braces, for the fittings, just for, you know, I have to take classes here to keep him here. It consumes all of what I do, and then I have to go home, and, well, I have to work, and then I have to go home and make sure he has fun before dinner, eat dinner, and make sure we have fun afterwards while we're still, like, doing therapy things while we're playing. I mean, it consumes everything I do. I think about it all the time.
The word bully definitely scares her when it comes to her son's future.
As he gets older, I think it might be more in his case, so that the kids, like, at school aren't like, oh, he's got braces, but hey, he's, you know, he looks like he's still up with what's going on, you know what I mean? I hope that it benefits him. That's my main, like, overall goal in the end. So they look beyond that. We're going to go with the benefit. And he has a good sense of humor, and I think he's just going to run with the sense of humor and hopefully use it as a benefit, you know? I hope others can learn from it. I mean, I went and spoke to a class about Deegan, and I hope that we can turn it into a benefit. Just that he is not ridiculed at all, and he can get through life and, you know, find the things that he's good at and succeed at it. I know he's going to succeed intellectually in school and stuff, but then, like, not having this after school sports and stuff like that. I just hope that he finds like swimming, something he can excel at and be good at, and and just fit in and not be given a hard time, because it's so sad, like the kids 10 years old committing suicide from bullying and stuff like that. I hope that never happens, like they bully my child. He is awesome. That, God put him in this world for a reason. He's got a great sense of humor. Don't look at the braces, look at his face and get to know him. And you'll wish you've done that from the beginning if not. But he's a great kid.